fan. Let's do some C-Note here, Cowboys news of the evening, where we look at the top headlines around your football team and give you the details and our analysis of it. We're going to start with Mel Kiper's latest mock draft. I think this is the third version of his mock, and one of the interesting takeaways is everybody's picking the Titans to take Jeremiah Love right now, and Mel Kiper is in line with that. The Titans picking fourth. There for a while, he was going to the Saints constantly at 8, or the Chiefs at 9 at the latest, but then the Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker. The Saints found a running back, but it doesn't matter because at least if you look at the heavyweights, and with 5 weeks to go until the draft, when you get alignment, like it's Dane Brugler, it's Daniel Jeremiah, it's Mel Kiper, like the biggest of the big mock drafters, they all have Jeremiah Love going to the Titans there. From Notre Dame, the running back. And, you know, I just think it starts to create these scenarios where if you get enough offensive players going in the top 5 or 6 picks, trading up to Cleveland or trading up to Kansas City and, you know, getting a chance of taking an elite defensive player continues to go up. It's trending upwards for your Cowboys, and definitely needs some positive developments at this point. But getting to 12 with Mel Kiper, he's got Jermod McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee. If you watch his 2024 stuff, you will think this guy is so legit as a player. Like it's man coverage, it's zone coverage, it's physicality. He's coming up to support the run. I really like Jermod McCoy, and I think if it wasn't for his torn ACL, he would be in the conversation for top 5 player. Like I think he's that good, and I would not be scared of the ACL, Chief. We can't have Savone Revel PTSD here. ACLs don't end careers. 99% of the time, the player is 100% fine.
Yeah, I mean, we need to look and see when is that Tennessee Pro Day, because he is going to have to work out and ball out. So let me see when that is supposed to be, because he not, punting on the workouts at the combine. It's like, okay, he's trying to buy himself a little bit more time, and perhaps he can put a lot of the injury questions to bed with a fantastic pro day, and then everybody can be like, okay, you know what? Now we can feel a heck of a lot more comfortable. And he's got till March 31st, so he's got another 2 weeks. That is when the Tennessee Pro Day is. So it'll be all eyes on Jermod McCoy that day to see, okay, how do you look physically and athletically off that ACL? Because when you don't play for all of last season, then there's going to be some questions. And I'm with you. I saw that 2024 tape, at least a little bit of it, and yeah, it's ridiculous.
He's amazing.
Dude's an absolute baller. And so if you can check that off, it's interesting because, I mean, it was just a few weeks ago that Nick Harris was coming out and being like, yeah, I think Jermod McCoy, like he had it in one of his Star Telegram articles, like, I don't think Jermod McCoy is going to be a guy that is really in consideration at 12 for the Cowboys because of the ACL factor. And maybe there's nothing he can do between now and the draft, and certainly on March 31st at his pro day, that would change the Cowboys' mind on that if they're just hell-bent, because like they've talked about it. Jerry's talked about it. We need a guy who can hit the ground running immediately. Mm-hmm. And you would think that McCoy would be able to, because he had the injury in 2024.
Yeah, January.
Yeah.
Late 2024, early 25.
Okay.
I think it was January of 25. So, yes, but to your point, it's going to be 18 or 19 months when you get to training camp since his torn ACL. It's not like he's trying to come back from something in 9 or 10 months as Savone Revel was. It's a year and a half. So I do have to say the pro day is important here. And
hugely.
And Jermod McCoy wasn't a guy that we were anticipating was going to run low 4.4s or 4.3s or anything like that. He was mid 4.5s before the injury was like his projected 40 time. So what if it did take a half second away from him and he goes 4.62?
Oh, and then you can't touch him.
Then then you're thinking, is this guy going to fall all the way to the second round? But even then, at 12, I'm very, very comfortable with the idea of taking a guy that, can step in here and become your cornerback number one. And that's what Mel Kiper notes, is that you can like the signing of Kobe Durant. You can believe Revel's going to be a solid pro and that Deron Bland's going to get back to what he was. But you don't have right now that corner that can be in contention for going out there and matching up with number one wide receivers and having a chance of having a successful day. Okay, then at 20, assuming the Cowboys don't go and sign Okereke and Jermaine Pratt or Okereke and Wagner, they're going to have this massive need for linebacker. And so Mel Kiper gives the Cowboys C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia, there at 20, saying it'd be wise for the Cowboys to double dip on defense. They gave up 6.1 yards per play in 2025. That was 31st in the NFL, third worst for any team in the past 5 seasons. And Allen can play all 3 downs immediately. He can drop in coverage, run down ball carriers, and even blitz. He had 97 tackles last season for the Bulldogs, showing tremendous read and react skills. And he's a guy that called the defense from the field for 2 years. You want to have belief that your rookie linebacker is going to step in and the NFL is not going to be too big for him. I think C.J. Allen's as close as you could hope for when you're looking at the 20th overall pick. And if that was the Cowboys draft, I'd say it's very successful. And depending on how C.J. Allen physically transitions to the league, could be amazing. That could be the 2 moves that set them up to have a very respectable defense. But they would have to be like all rookie team level hits. And, I think that's possible, but hard to bet on at this point. Okay, ESPN did a free agency wrap-up article asking their panelists a series of questions. Which was the most head-scratching move in the league? And Ben Solak, NFL analyst, picked one of the Cowboys' moves from last week. Chief, which one would you say it is?
Head-scratching move for the Cowboys. I guess the Osa trade or the Rashan Gary trade. I mean, Jalen Thompson, that's like a home run. Nobody's going to be upset at Kobe Durant. Like, everything else they did was so small outside of Jalen Thompson and Rashan Gary. So I would say either the Osa trade or the trade for Rashan Gary.
Yeah, they went with the trade for Rashan Gary, saying, I don't mind the fit for Gary in the Cowboys defense, a bulky edge on a team that needs more run-stuffing power, but the Cowboys traded a 4 for Gary's deal, which will average out at $19.5 million over the next 2 seasons. Now, they did adjust him. They got him to take a pay cut and then restructured it, but saying, was that really necessary when Boye Mafe and Bradley Chubb signed close to that amount, when Jonathan Grenard, a similarly strong run defender with a far better pass rush profile, was also available via trade? I'm surprised Dallas chose this option in a rich class of free agent rushers. So it's not that he doesn't like Rashan Gary. It's that your other options by comparison might have been better, not having to give up draft capital for one of the other 2 guys or trading for a better player in Grenard. And to his point, I'd rather have Grenard than Gary, but we don't know how available Grenard is, and they're different players. Rashan Gary is definitely more of a physical, edge-setting, run-defending guy, where Grenard's going to give you more of the high upside. He could go get 15 sacks. He has done 12 sacks in back-to-back seasons very recently in his career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the league that would say Rashan Gary's a better player than Jonathan Grenard. But you probably wouldn't be able to get Grenard for that 4th-round pick that you traded Rashan Gary for, right? So you would have had to wait until you did the Osa deal and got that 3 and then flip the 3 perhaps for Grenard. But it doesn't seem like they want to move on from that pick. They want to hang on to it. So I get it. Like, for me in free agency, it would have been the Boye Mafe deal. And he would have ended up making more than what Rashan Gary is, because he got, I think it was like a 3-year, $60 million deal. So he would be making a little bit more, but he's younger, and I think there's a little bit more upside there. And again, you're not having to trade for him. So, but what they did with his contract and reducing it the way they did, I feel a heck of a lot better about it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, to have Gary at $5.5 million, that's the kind of move that I want them to repeat across the roster. Let's bring all these numbers down even more aggressively to free up the cap space at this point to go make trades.
Yes, yeah. And no matter what they did, I mean, I guess if they got Grenard, you'd feel better, but they would need more bodies anyways. Like if you sign Boye Mafe, we're still looking at the draft right now saying like, yeah, could we get a Ruben Bain? Could he fall to 12? Like you would still want more edge rush help, but I do think some other players were probably a little bit better, in particular when it comes to the pass rushing.
All right, the other angle from this article as we go through the C note here, Cowboys News of the Evening, is they were asked which team took the biggest step back last week in the NFL. Aaron Schatz says the Eagles. Reek Woolen will help solve their cornerback 2 problem, but they lost several other players. Jalen Phillips helped transform their defense at midseason. Safety Reed Blankenship was an important part of their secondary. They could afford to lose linebacker Nakobe Dean because they have Jahad Campbell, but the depth took a hit. Arnold Ebiketie, the edge rusher, was a good addition to make up for the loss of Phillips, but with the top free agent safeties on new teams, the Eagles should improve that position through the draft now. The Niners, Seahawks, and Texans also getting nominated in there for the NFL team that took the biggest step back, and I don't think the Giants are going to be that much better. I'm not a believer in John Harbaugh, not a believer in the coaches that he got, not a believer in Jackson Dart. Washington is at least another year of building away from being legitimate. Like, this is going to be an NFC East year where the top team in the division might only have 10 or 11 wins. This is shaping up to be a year where, you know, the Cowboys don't have to be elite to get back into the playoffs. I just want them to shoot for much higher. Like, that should be a thing where you say, all right, we might not need the hottest start because we don't need 12 or 13 wins to win this division. But if we're a couple of games ahead at midseason, that's the time where I think you get super aggressive in free agency. Like I guess in the trade market there, the trade deadline in the middle of the 2026 NFL season. I think it's okay right now, especially because of how much more prevalent trades are in the NFL, to say, okay, we're building a team that if everything hits, we're feeling good, like we could be contenders. We're building a team to make the playoffs. And then once you get into the regular season, if the trades are available, I would hope that they would go ahead and push this thing over the top.
Yeah, I mean, just you saying that makes me think of the idea, man, if Max Crosby ends up staying with the Raiders as the season starts, and then the Raiders end up being just probably not a very good team, even though they've brought in a lot of outside free agents, maybe Crosby could be had. You watch him play the first part of the season and show, okay, the knee's good enough, he's still productive. All of a sudden, Max Crosby now becomes a guy that you trade for at the deadline.
Yeah, I would love that scenario. New player quotes. There was media availability over the weekend. Kobe Durant was asked, what are the Cowboys getting in him? Creating takeaways, getting the ball back. He had 6 combined last year, regular season and playoffs. 3 takeaways in the playoffs. They need that big time. He says, let Dak do what he does. He says they're getting a guy that the media says is too small. But, you know, it's not all about the size of the dog. It's the size of the heart in the dog. The land shark is coming to make plays and add on to this defense.
He calls himself the land shark?
Land shark, yeah.
I like that, dude. The land shark, Kobe Durant.
Yeah.
Coming in for the Cowboys, man. That's pretty strong. I like that, dude.
Yeah.
I like that as a little nickname. I like that he calls himself that, too.
I mean, we've had Kenny Gant, the shark. We've had the land shark bit from Saturday Night Live. And now you got your very own land shark here from Kobe Durant. Sam Howell, Dallas.
Isn't that a beer, too, right?
It is.
Land Shark?
Yeah, the Dolphins were Land Shark Stadium at one point.
Yeah, Land Shark seems like a beer you'd get in like a tiki bar in Hawaii on vacation.
Vacation destination beer.
Yeah, that is 100% a Key West beer. I mean, there's no question. Margaritaville Brewing Company out of Florida. That was the Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville brand. So that's Jimmy Buffett's beer.
Yep, vacation beer.
That's beautiful, man.
Got to sell a lot of beers to sponsor a stadium as like a craft brew. That's crazy. My parents are in Hawaii right now. They've been talking about this trip forever, and they get there, and like a 100-year storm hits Hawaii. like this giant rain cloud just parked over the islands for about the last 5 days straight. They've been on like flood watch and stuff. I'm calling them like more than I've ever called them. Like, how's it going?
Yeah.
Are we doing all right? Is there any need for a raft or anything like that?
It's the worst vacation ever.
Yeah. And they're trying to make the most out of it, but how do you do that? You can't even go outside. It's coming down in sheets. It's just constant, like 10 out of 10 rainstorm.
Oh my gosh! Have you looked at videos of it? Has it been?
Yeah, I've seen some. The airport's been closed a couple of these days. Roads are getting closed all over the place. So.
Oh, dude, it is flooding.
Okay, we got Sam Howell. He says, Dallas was my team growing up, so it's a dream come true to be here and to be a Dallas Cowboy. It's been a crazy couple of days, but I'm glad it is where it ended. Says he has a lot of respect for Dak, has been a tremendous player in the league. He's someone I have a lot of respect for. I love the way that he plays the game, and I love the way he throws the ball, the way he leads the team. He's a guy I look up to in this league, and I look forward to watching him up close this year. We didn't talk a lot about the Sam Howell signing over the last couple of days. Happened last week. I think it was just clear we'd seen enough from Joe Milton. I mean, it was probably clear after the second preseason game.
Yeah, this is certainly an indicator that they at least want Joe Milton to be pushed even harder in training camp, and now he's got some legit competition here. So, yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. Either one of those guys, I mean, you don't feel great about either one of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Howell led the league in picks the 1 year they let him play, right? I think he had 21 picks a couple of years back.
Well, the Commanders that year I think Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator, and they were throwing the ball at a higher rate than even Andy Reid in his heyday.
Oh, that's right.
They were dropping back every play.
Yeah.